Don't call me babe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Movie Nights. I'm here with my new best friend, James Mansfield.
Hi everyone. Hi nerds on Movie Nights. I'm kidding.
Another bunch of nerds. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Barb Wire, starring Pamela Anderson.
A magnum opus, the Casablanca remake nobody asked for.
It's gender swapped, that means it's progressive.
Exactly, progressive is the word I would be thinking of.
I think it's the perfect depiction of the year 2017.
Oh my god. The year, I have it written down, the worst year of my life. You said it, sister.
The year was 2017, the worst year of my life.
God, it was like Trump got elected and all the lights went out. We all lived in warehouses.
Just one warehouse that you would just drive around to shoot your new scene in, apparently.
I'm looking for a light. Got one.
So in this fictional universe, this is a post-apocalyptic world. So it's Casablanca, but instead of World War II, this takes place during the Second American Civil War.
And instead of Humphrey Bogart, we have Pamela Anderson Lee.
Just as good.
Was she Anderson Lee at this point? I'm not too sure.
She was Anderson Lee at this point.
Yeah. Boy.
Oh boy. She's a mercenary for hire. And
well, she is among a mercenary. She is a hired hitman mercenary. She owns a nightclub, which apparently everything operates out of. You can get everything.
Tattoos, there's like a DJ, a radio station.
It's a freaking strip mall. I'm pretty sure you can get your taxes done there too. It's crazy. But and then she also moonlights as, you know, she has a hooker card. Apparently in the future, that's a thing.
Oh, okay.
They have prostitute cards. Because that's what she showed off, and she had the big glamour shot of herself.
Yeah, apparently, like, she's spending all of the money left over in the apocalypse. Everyone's living in filth, and she's, like, spending it on these headshots. That's where all the lighting went. All
the budget in the apocalypse went towards her hair extensions and her eyeliner.
Good one.
She's kind of a savvy businesswoman, though. It was a good club.
I will say it.
For the shithole they were living in.
I mean, it pays when you're, like, the only nightclub in your warehouse district. Your crummy warehouse district that everyone lives on the street of, apparently. I don't know if we were supposed to feel sorry for, like, for them, their nightclub shutting down. There was obvious corruption happening. Oh, absolutely.
It so good.
I was just impressed, like, just how much was happening in this club. This is a busy-ass nightclub. There were people doing tattoos.
Yeah. Well, what else are you gonna do in the apocalypse, I guess?
And then when they smashed it up, it's just like, people would probably still drink there. I'm just not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, they're like, just pick the glass out of your shot glasses. And
use it as ice.
And from Samantha the cow, you thieving, murderous bastard. If I ever see you again, I'll rip out your eyes and pluck up your ears.
She was working in the resistance in the Second American World War. And she's retired now because war is hell.
Yes.
And they had these flashbacks to when she was in the war. And so it's Pamela Anderson still in like full makeup in like army fatigues.
Full French tips, like holding, you know, an assault rifle.
Yeah, and I think I just wrote in my notes like war flashbacks. Nope.
I was totally here for this movie. Like, I wish this was the movie we got. Like Private Benjamin with Pamela Anderson.
I was just gonna say, it's like Private Benjamin. I wasn't buying it at all. It was hilarious.
It's a wonder why she didn't have any more films after this one, where she was the solo lead.
Who are you? I'm the one who's getting you out of here. Trust me. Where are you, bastard? Get a life. Cut the shit. Shit.
How would you rate her acting in this?
I will say she definitely studied moods, but only ever got out to one mood. It was progressively just annoyed.
Yeah, she was annoyed a lot of the time. Like, I respect her for trying something. I feel like I've seen better though. There were a lot of very like flat lines or weird lines or ones where it sounded
like right in the beginning, we know we're off to a bad start. We just hear, "God damn it!
God damn it! God damn it!"
She didn't sound like she knew what the joke was with some of it when it's clearly supposed to be a joke.
He was a drunk with sticky fingers, but at least he was honest. He admitted he was a liar and a thief. Lovely you brought company.
I could only come up with half the money.
Half the money? Good one.
I don't want to read Pam for filth, but like, honestly, this was a big thing for her to take on, and there was a lot of emotions they asked her to cry at one point.
I was like, please don't.
Don't cry, Pam.
Please don't make her cry.
It's embarrassing.
But given I watched this movie when I was 13 years old, so watching it back, like, I was invested, like the emotions were there. I could have swore she was upset her brother was dead. But watching it back now, oh boy.
I have not seen this movie until now, and I'm glad I got to see Barbed Wire. But like, I've seen a lot of Baywatch. So I've seen Pamela Anderson acting, and I feel like she had stronger moments in Baywatch than here at times.
And you knew those better than I would. Like, in Baywatch, did they treat her like a lamp most of the time? Like, was she part of the props department in Baywatch? Because she certainly was in this movie. I feel like there's lots of like angles, like Dutch angles set up where it's just like, you know, looking upwards towards Pamela's cleavage, or like really just kind of gross shots of her. And I feel bad like even reading her, because it's like that was kind of like how it was saddled on her in the 90s and our projection of Pamela in this movie. It's not very fair.
Well, I feel like this movie had an aesthetic and it knew what it was going for. Like, it was going for this very sexual, leather, weird Mad Max mixed with the 40s pastiche going on
40s pastiche, and like a very out of the blue, like Fredericks of Hollywood, the bondage section.
Yeah.
Like costume department was completely made up of.
They love that bustier though. Like, she kept coming out in the same outfit.
It was her favorite outfit. We saw her in it like 8 times. It partnered with the nylon gloves.
Yeah, like I feel like this is very in keeping with her aesthetic at the time though. I don't know if she felt bad shooting this, because like I feel like she was really into it. I felt like she was.
It was a power fantasy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And the movie, like, immediately when they start out with like the stripping montage, like at least they're very honest with you from the bat, like what you're getting into.
Oh yeah, 30 seconds in you get boobs. So it's just like everyone that came into this with the morbid curiosity of Pamela Anderson, at that point we had seen a lot of her. At least they got that out of the way right away, and everything else was a little more subtle than you would expect. Like, she'd be so reserved and covered up when she's taking a bath, but like she'd walk past, you know, a display and she's just topless.
I didn't really understand that. I didn't understand that like she went like nude in the movie, but like during certain scenes like the bubble bath, it's clearly like bubble underwear that she's wearing.
Which again, props to the prop department, because like that's a lot of work to like work with the suds. Oh my gosh.
Oops.
When you were watching this, did you retain any of its plot?
It kind of defied you to pay attention.
It was a chore, wasn't it?
I was kind of lost. I was like, wait, so they need this one person because their DNA has the antidote to something, or oh, it's the super HIV. It's the super HIV, and they gotta get the contacts to get onto the plane because Kansas.
What the hell were they looking for anyway?
Stupid contact lenses.
And like eventually just like threw the Casablanca thing in there just to wrap it all up, but like they never really went there. And again, like none of the key players here were anything like, you know, a Bogart or who else was in that movie? Peter Lorre. I'm a little rusty on my old
excuse me. This movie had Clint Howard in it.
It's a pleasure to see you too.
Oh, our Peter Lorre, Clint Howard, yes.
We got some all-star talent.
You pointed it out right away. He was the best part of this movie.
Oh man, I'm like, I didn't even know he was in it. So what a pleasant surprise. Surprise Clint Howard.
You're looking rather buoyant this evening.
Shut up.
I don't want to just like drag on this movie. Like, I feel like I respect what they were going for. I just think like there were times where it was a little bit try hard about it.
How's the crowd, honey?
Wet. Sure thing, big boy. Miss Kopetsky died in the war. I'm Barbed Wire.
I like that they went for it with the costumes and with this different kind of like aesthetic with
Absolutely.
this.
Like the aesthetic was definitely present. Like there was production design put into this despite like the budget really showing. They really tried their hardest to cover it up. And there was an atmosphere there that would work with a better script and maybe, you know, some better characters and, you know, writing. But I just like, Pamela sure did try. I don't want to drag her for it. Like, she definitely tried to live out this action fantasy. And at that point in her career, I feel like this was the kind of movie that was thrown to her. And they never really took chances on Pamela like that to see if she could stretch her acting muscles more.
This was the movie that was the reason that Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie, when that came out, it was pushed to only 13 theaters when it was released because they thought this one was going to be the more commercially successful movie.
Well,
and
we see how that turned out.
But it's sort of like, it's picking between two kind of niche interests, I think, because while Pamela Anderson was very popular, I think there was this stigma against TV actors at the time, like headlining things, and also because she was very prominent for Playboy, that like I think like, how do you choose between the two of them?
Yeah, and like a lot of this movie was totally fetish fuel, and like they definitely leaned into it a lot. It's nipple clamps! Oh my god, the best part of this movie besides the Howard guy was the evil Nazi titty torture guy. What was that scene with that girl strapped to the table and she had electrical bra and panty set on?
They were torturing her to get her, like, her memories. It was like a memory thing, but somehow this connected to her nipples and her, you know, downstairs area. And, like, I don't know how that, like...
How was that extracting memories?
I don't know. It would, like, extract memories, and it was like she was getting off on it or something. But then when they did it to the dude, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, what was that all about? He didn't get like an electrical Speedo.
It wasn't equal opportunity.
It really wasn't. But he was all about that titty torture though. And like, it was the best part of this movie was me and you just joking about the evil Nazi guy and his, just the nipples.
Just one nipple, please. It's all I have in life. Please, I don't even care about this contact lens. What is this about antidote DNA? It makes no sense.
I'm so glad you picked the torture.
Oh.
It was going to happen anyway.
How smart were these, like, Nazi guys, though? Like, they capture Pamela Anderson's brother, who was blinded in the war.
The blind leading the blind.
And so he does the torture on him, and then somehow they're shocked that, like, it doesn't work on the blind guy, because this works on a visual thing. They're like, he didn't have any visual... I don't know what accent I'm doing at this point.
It's about an oversight.
Blind leading the blind.
We didn't think about this, sir. Get the nipple clamps anyway!
I know, exactly! Like, he was so thirsty for that. And, like, everyone, he nipple tortured the whole, like, resistance group, too. Oh my god, that just led to Pamela Anderson to cry over him, where he's, like, crucified, and then...
Her makeup was still perfect. Everyone was looking pretty filthy near the end, but she was still looking pretty good.
And somehow in this apocalypse, she always knows where to find her eye light.
Just constant eye light following her around. It became sort of a daylight situation near the climax. I guess perhaps this was a metaphor, you know, like the sun rising, this victory is coming. Or maybe they could just shoot outside for a while.
Shut up.
They destroyed Topeka, Kansas with a...
No big loss.
Yeah. Sorry, fans in Topeka. You were wiped out by the super HIV. Sorry, it was nipple clamp guy wanted it. I don't know to what end. For war. War.
War.
You know, what's it good for? Absolutely nothing. So they wiped it out with this, and the black lady has an antidote in her DNA.
Bingo. Dino DNA.
But they don't seem to know a lot about, like,
they don't seem to know about what
science, anatomy. One person, I think it was nipple clamp guy, threatens to, like, pull someone's heart out of their ass and then shove it down their throat at one point.
I will personally rip your heart out of your ass and stuff it back down your throat.
Oh my god, I'm just like the Pam in the movie. They just want to come out. Gosh.
Oh gosh. Now, see, like, our clothes are just falling off entirely.
It's the power of barbed wire.
Just the ghost of Pamela Anderson. R.I.P. Pamela Anderson. They expected us to do a lot of reading at the beginning, though, I think.
And it essentially was like the beginning of Star Wars for me. It was just like, I retained none of this, and I read nothing.
But then she explains it's essentially the same thing during the noir narration. And so it just seemed like it was both lengthy and repetitive.
It was the middle of the Second American Civil War. The year was 2017. There was only one free city.
The last free city.
And yet still, we were having trouble following it. Maybe we needed it a third time.
And it's based after a film that everyone knows the direct reference and storyline to, and we still were lost. Pamela Anderson is just going back and forth on whether or not she wants to help out this resistance group, and ultimately does when it benefits her.
This was like at the very end, though. She's like a very reactionary main character, because like all of this is them just saying like, hey, you should help us, and she's like, no, I don't think so.
I don't do that anymore.
I don't take sides. I'm neutral. I don't take sides.
I don't take sides. I'm in this for me only.
And she doesn't pick a side and until like the very end. But a lot of it's not really that much about her, is it, for a movie called Barbed Wire?
No, not really. I mean, she spends a lot of it just sitting out, and then there's so much just boring plot happening where you can tell even the director is just like, okay, Pam!
A girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do.
Like that whole subplot with the scientist girl who knows the score and she has to be protected, and Pamela Anderson's former boyfriend bodyguard with her. I couldn't tell you their names. I couldn't tell you what they're about.
No, I didn't remember what anyone's names were. I was like, hey, there's Clint Howard, there's Pamela Anderson, there's the nipple clamp guy. I did remember one particular name, though. I think like the second best character next to okay, third. We got Clint Howard, we got nipple clamp guy, and then we got Big Fatso.
Big Fatso.
Big Fatso. That wasn't part of the deal, Big Fatso. Right, Big Fatso?
Nice work, Mr. Big Fatso.
Fat son of a bitch.
He's like at the 11th hour of the movie. This guy's introduced.
Just sitting in a barge of junk on a forklift.
He's eating a giant drumstick. Where did he get this? he's just in his filth with this like Mad Max goons like Big Fatso.
Donuts. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
Clint Howard's death. That was kind of messy. I think Big Fatso was a little rough with him.
Right off camera, too. Stuffing him in a fridge like, you know, a superhero's girlfriend.
It's a pleasure to see you too.
Even when there were points where we weren't having a good time, Nipple Clamp Guy was always having a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like turning into like a space mutiny situation with him and like the like waxing thing or whatever. Just I love driving around pointlessly. This isn't worth it.
These things were a riot. Oh, well, anyway.
This movie, I will say, like, it was a chore to watch, but I enjoyed myself. Like, it was fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with, like, the big explosions at the end.
It was like they really could feel the pressure on them to get the most out of these sets, because it must have been like they were running out of time on them, because, like, they were just speeding through that last act. And it was all daylight all of a sudden from a film full of night and rain. Suddenly the whole last act is just nothing but bright sun and orange.
They had that rain set up for her like stripping at the beginning. They were gonna use it. So it was in the alley in the warehouse or whatever. They just kept redressing the warehouse. Like they were very economical with this movie. Like what they didn't have in sets. Like I recognized a lot of the places they were filming from just like TV shows. So that was just an area that they could use, but they did like try to make up for it with some of the costuming and the lighting and trying to have a moody atmosphere with it.
Yeah, and yet the only thing that was really moody throughout the whole film, like the only mood you got was Pamela Anderson, and she was just pressed the entire film.
Actually, I don't feel much of anything anymore.
She was pissed off for some reason. We got very little answers as to why.
I guess war is hell.
She's just that angry.
She was angry. She broke some nails.
I mean, I feel like I heard her tone raise once, And that was in the middle of a nightclub, like just talking to someone so they could hear her. The rest of the movie, even when she's in her final act, she's still talking in a very small tone as she's on a forklift fighting for her life.
I got you, babe!
Don't call me babe. Don't call me babe. And don't try to murder me with a forklift.
Keep your nipple clamps to yourself.
Don't do that, buddy. I'm really angry about it.
Oh, I love her.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I do like the idea of her trying to like sneak up on anyone in the leather, just
Oh, jeez, we're gonna die.
I liked the bit where, okay, first of all, she's got all these, like, weapons. She kind of stopped doing this after, like, partway into the movie. Like, she begins with, like, killing a guy with a stiletto. This wasn't even a mercenary thing. This is just, she just didn't like that guy.
He called her babe.
He called her babe.
The one fatal flaw.
Yeah, if you call her babe, you're gonna be dead in this movie.
Come on, babe!
One more person calls me babe. Don't call me babe. Don't call me babe.
So she kills him with a stiletto, which is pretty awesome. And then she has like a cigarette with a dart in it. She shoots into someone's head like she's a Bond villain or something.
And she has a freaking grappling hook out of nowhere.
Ever see Batman?
Where did she pull it out from? She's wearing an evening gown. What kind of utility panties was she wearing? Because she had a lot of gadgets on her person with very few places to keep anything.
When we were watching this, she's like walking around in the bustier and then like just like a thong and some tights, and you're like, yeah, I feel like this wasn't appropriate wear for mercenary, like it's just not like the best outfit to wear.
And that poor stunt woman had to jump around in full stilettos and a corset, like hopping over furniture in that fight scene.
Oh yeah, I felt really bad for the stunt lady in this. She switched shoes when she was on the bike though, you noted.
Yeah, she has, you know, safety first. Mm-hmm. Safety first.
Good one.
I like how much this movie, they tried to convince you to, like how cool it was. To the point where there's a song where she's driving the motorcycle, well, the lyrics is just, she's so cool.
She's so cool. Even down to like the theme, like the song playing at the very end, I couldn't understand what they're saying. It just sounded like, lot of boobs, lot of boobs. It's like, well, they know their subject matter.
It's true, where's the lie?
We definitely knew Pamela Anderson had breasts.
This was never in question. The year's 2017. Pamela Anderson still has breasts. Thank God.
Oh, there's my
ding. Ding, boobs are here.
Yeah, at some point I just gave up on taking notes.
Oh yeah, I think the last thing I just wrote was Colonel Hammy loves his work.
It's a shame Brothers of Hollywood didn't clothe the whole cast. Oh, that's very true. I feel like I would have liked this a lot more had, like, you know, the men all wore the bondage figure too.
If Clint Howard had like a ball gag in his mouth.
A gimp mask, you know, for walking around in the streets. Casual gimp mask.
We didn't get to see him die. That was really the sad part.
It really was. Off-camera death of a great character in the movie.
R.I.P. Clint Howard. Not since Santa with Muscles has he had such a great, fulfilling role.
That'll teach you to mess with Thomas P. Hinckley.
Overall, I feel like I dragged on this movie a lot, but I do want to say this, like, I respect this movie. I had a good time watching it. There were some draggy parts, but like, genuinely they were creative with it, and like, I can respect that.
They had absolute vision that they just had to see through. I feel like my one gripe about this movie, even watching it back, I enjoyed it a lot as a kid, but it's just not a whole lot of fun in the script. Like, I feel like had they leaned more into like the comedy of the whole situation, it would have been a more enjoyable and engaging ride, because every time Pamela was off screen, I did not care. Like, she was the whole thing carrying the movie, and if she's the star of it, I feel like she should be in more of it.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna do like a gender-swapped Casablanca, that's a really great idea. Like, that's really fun. But yeah, they could have done some more building with the characters around them. I feel like they had gimmicks built around them, but as far as like building up the characters, it left a little to be desired, but I guess maybe that was not their focus.
If I understand, this is based on like a comic book, which I guess is sort of yeah, it's like a cult classic amongst the comic book community.
Oh,
I had no idea.
That explains some things.
But I guess like the character is like this cold badass, but like, and she looked like Pamela, but I guess in their eyes that was spot on casting. But again, it's like the movie's just not a whole lot of fun as far as like a comic book superhero movie goes.
Well, what would you do different? Would you cast anyone different? Would you play it different?
I would keep Pamela. Like, again, she tried her best with the material she was given. It's also like the material wasn't very good. I would definitely amp the script up more, like give it a lot more jokes and give her a bit more to work with. Cause all she knew as her motivation is, I'm just really annoyed. Like just progressively annoyed throughout the whole film. Let her have a little bit more fun. Like VIP, she was having such a blast whenever you got to see her on screen.
Yeah, I feel like the amount of screen time was probably equal. The total of Barbed Wire was...
And 4 seasons of VIP.
Yeah, 4 seasons of VIP. I do agree they could have had more fun with it. I feel like Barbed Wire as a character should have felt more involved with the story, and it felt like a lot of it was about everyone around her trying to convince her to be in the movie.
Yeah, it really was though. Like every character was chasing her down, just like, Barb, come on, we gotta move the plot forward, and we didn't get there till the 3rd act.
I don't think so.
I'm fine, I don't do that anymore.
I don't do that anymore. I just wear my bustiers, and I run a club.
So, would you recommend this movie to anyone?
I actually would. I'd say it's worth a gander. But again, it's like, you know what you're getting yourself into, honestly, because it's campy and fun, but as long as you just fast forward to the parts Pamela's actually on screen, you'll have a good time.
I would recommend it too. Like, I feel like there's enough camp in there to enjoy yourself, and I feel like if anyone's interested in adaptations, this is very interesting to see. Not only like how they adapted the comic book, which I didn't know about, but that would be interesting to compare, but also Casablanca. I just like the idea.
It's Bogie and a bustier.
That's good. We'll put that on the next re-release. That'll be their pull quote.
It'll be the only special feature you get, a new quote.
They had interactive menus.
Oh boy.
So I think that's what we're gonna end it on. Check it out, guys.
Don't call me babe.